The post-purchase email that turns first-time buyers into repeat customers. What you say in the first email after a sale shapes whether someone buys from you again. Here's a simple template that works. The confirmation screen gets all the design attention, but the email that lands 2 minutes later is where the relationship actually starts. Most creators treat it as plumbing, a receipt with a download link bolted on, and leave real money on the table, because the first post-purchase email is the single highest open rate message you will ever send someone. They just paid you. They're checking their inbox on purpose, waiting for the thing they bought. That's not a moment for a generic "thanks for your order," or it's a moment to say something a human would actually say, and to plant one small seed for the next purchase without being pushy about it. This isn't about the confirmation screen UX or your monthly newsletter blast. It's about the specific words in that one automatic email, and why they matter more than almost anything else you'll write this month. Why this email outperforms everything else you send. Open rates for a transactional receipt-style email routinely run 2 to 3 times higher than a marketing broadcast, because the recipient has a built-in reason to open it. They want to know their payment worked, and their thing is on the way. That attention is rented, not owned. It decays within minutes of the purchase. Every creator who's ever sold a digital product already has this email firing automatically the moment someone buys through their storefront. The only question is whether the words inside it are doing any work or just occupying space between the payment confirmation and the download button. If you've never actually read your own post-purchase email as a customer would, that's worth 5 minutes today, because most people writing this content are guessing at what belongs there instead of building it deliberately. What actually belongs in the first email? Strip it down to 4 jobs in this order. Confirm what they got, hand them access without friction, say something that sounds like a person wrote it, and open one small door forward. Everything else is optional. The mistake most creators make is inverting the order, leading with a long thank you paragraph before the buyer even knows where their download link is. Someone who just paid is anxious in a tiny, specific way. Did it work? And where's my thing? Answer that in the first sentence, then let the personality show up after. The 5-second test. Read your post-purchase email start to finish and time yourself. If it takes longer than 5 seconds to find the actual download link or access instructions, you've buried the one thing your buyer opened the email to get. Move it up. Tone. Write it like you'd text a friend who just bought your stuff. The biggest lever here isn't structure, it's voice. A post-purchase email that sounds like it came from a legal department. Your order has been processed. Please retain this email for your records. Get skimmed and archived. One that sounds like the actual person behind the product. A little informal, maybe one specific detail about the product itself, gets read and occasionally gets replied to. That reply is the whole game. A buyer who emails you back, "Hey, quick question about the third template," is a buyer who now has a direct line to you, and creators who respond personally to those replies see meaningfully higher repeat purchase rates than creators who never hear from their customers again after checkout. Write the email the way you'd message someone you actually like. Then trim anything that sounds like it was copy-pasted from a template you found online, including, frankly, this one. Use it as a skeleton, not a script. Nobody has ever bought a second product from a creator whose first email felt like a vending machine receipt. The one question worth asking, and the ones to skip. Don't send a 5-question survey in the first email. It feels transactional in exactly the moment you're trying to feel personal. Instead, ask one specific thing tied to what they just bought. If it's a template pack, what are you planning to use this for? If it's a course, what's the one result you're hoping this gets you? If it's a coaching call, anything specific you want to make sure we cover? These questions do double duty. They make the buyer feel seen, and the answers hand you real language for future product descriptions, testimonials, and even your next product idea. A generic, "How did we do?" gets a one-word reply or silence. A specific question about their goal gets an actual paragraph, and that paragraph is market research you didn't have to pay for. Subject line names the product plainly, no clickbait or vague phrasing. First sentence confirms the purchase and points at the access link, download link, course access, or meeting details are visible without scrolling. One or two lines in your actual voice, not templated corporate language. Exactly one specific question tied to the product, not a generic survey. One soft mention of what else you offer, phrased as helpful, not salesy. A real reply to address or invitation to just hit reply with questions. Read the email as if you were the buyer and time how fast you find the link. The soft next step. Planting a seed without an upsell wall. This is the part creators either skip entirely or overdo. Skipping it means a customer never learns you sell anything else. They got their ebook, and as far as they know, that's the whole catalog. Overdoing it means bolting a hard sell banner for your $497 course onto the bottom of a 12 template receipt, which reads as tone deaf given they just paid you. The middle ground is one plain sentence. If you end up wanting the deeper version of this, it's linked on my page. Or, I've also got a few other templates in the same style if this one's useful. No discount code, no urgency, no bold buttons, just information, delivered once, that a genuinely interested buyer can act on immediately and everyone else can ignore without friction. That single sentence is doing more retention work over a year than any single broadcast campaign, because it reaches 100% of your buyers at the exact moment they're most bought in on you as a creator. None of this requires new tooling. It's the same automatic delivery email your storefront already sends the instant someone pays, whether that's a digital download, a course login, or a meeting link for a coaching call. The content is what you're upgrading, not the mechanism. If you haven't looked at what that email currently says since the day you created your store, it's worth 5 minutes to rewrite it using the structure above. Most creators are surprised how much of it was left on autopilot. For a sense of how this fits alongside the rest of a storefront, a live example store shows what a fully set up seller looks like end to end, from the one link in a bio down to what happens after checkout. Measuring whether it's actually working. You don't need elaborate tracking to know if a rewritten post-purchase email is pulling its weight. Watch two numbers over the next month. How many buyers reply to it at all? And how many of your total sales come from customers who've bought from you before? Your customer list already shows you repeat buyers over time, so a baseline is easy to establish. Check what percentage of last month's sales were from returning customers, rewrite the email, and check again in 4 to 6 weeks. A rewritten email that gets even a handful of real replies per week is already outperforming a receipt nobody reads twice. And a rising repeat buyer percentage is the clearest signal that the relationship is compounding instead of resetting to zero after every sale. The mechanics of instant delivery, secure download links, and automatic access are things store.fan already handles the moment a payment clears. Stripe or PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay. It doesn't matter which. The email fires either way. What separates a storefront that sells once per customer from one that sells 3 or 4 times to the same person is almost never the tooling. It's whether that first email sounds like a person who's glad they showed up, asks them one real question, and quietly tells them what else is available. Small edit, compounding return, and it costs nothing to rewrite it this week instead of next quarter. For more on what to build around it, the blog has the rest of the playbook. Key takeaways. The post-purchase email has the highest open rate of any message you'll send. Treat its content like a first date, not a receipt. Lead with delivery and access, not gratitude. Buyers open this email to get their thing, so give it to them in the first line. One genuine, specific question, not a survey, turns a transaction into a two-way conversation you can actually reply to. A single, soft next step mention, not a hard upsell, is what nudges a first-time buyer toward becoming a repeat one. Tone beats template. A slightly imperfect, personal-sounding email consistently outperforms a polished, corporate one. Start your creator store free at store.fan.